so exciting. I don't think that you can better it.
Hello again and welcome. Well, this week's dip into Bobby's football scrapbook has provided us with two terrific games that help Arsenal achieve a notable league and cup double. The season, of course, 70-71. It is an immense achievement, isn't it, a league and cup double, Bobby?
Very difficult, yes. I mean, the league in itself is really hard. You know, every week, you know, everyone wants to beat you. You're up there at the top of the league or near the top of the league. Matches are difficult. Added to that, you've got maybe a League Cup and you've got the FA Cup matches as well.
So many games.
So when a lot of teams actually get breaks and get an opportunity to rest and have the odd week free, you know, usually if you're going for the double, you hardly have a free week.
But you've got close on 2 or 3 occasions,
We
haven't
did, yes. Well, we were fortunate. I mean, I think it's a real honour for a club to say that they've actually won the double because it's so hard. Liverpool, Arsenal have done it. Man United, my team, did it a couple of years ago. We might have done a double if we'd have scored a couple of goals in the last week of last season.
Yeah.
But it's really difficult, and it's something that a player must be really proud of. I never achieved it, but to have actually played when you actually won the FA Cup the same time as you became champions is just brilliant.
Well, Bobby, the two games we're going to see: Arsenal v Everton, the league champions from October 1970.
Radford, and this is Kelly, and that really should have been number 5.
Then Manchester United against Arsenal, the Fairs Cup holders from December 1970.
Oh, Charlton! Oh, a great save by Wilson.
Today's guest was a significant member of that great Arsenal side. In fact, from his position as a central defender, he led the team at both ends of the pitch.
Brentford moving in as the ball is kicked. Then Brentford, Graham, and a goal scored by McClintock.
Frank McClintock started his pro career with Leicester City, moving to Arsenal in 1964. He enjoyed 8 rewarding years with the Gunners and in 1972 moved across London to Queen's Park Rangers. He will always be remembered as the man that lifted the double for Arsenal. And he's welcome back. And you're much amused with those photographs, aren't you?
Well, that's a crack. Must have been my worst enemy that brought that one in there. That was a beautiful one, that.
Good to see you. Good to see you. And as Bobby has just said, a very proud achievement.
Yes, it was, because the Football League itself, to win the championship, is a long period of time.
Yes.
And you've got to have terrific consistency as well, and we managed to achieve that. One of the best things about that season for us was we were about 6 points behind Leeds United, who were a superb side, and it was only 2 points for a win there, and yet we gradually clipped them away and eventually finished up winning the championship on the very last day of the season, and then playing Liverpool to win the double, who were regarded as the fittest side in the land. And that went to extra time as well, and that was my 5th cup final without winning one. So I felt a bit of a balk at the time, and it was so lovely to win that, you know. So it was a fabulous achievement.
It was a great Arsenal side too. I mean, there were so many great players in that side, Bobby, 70-71.
They had good players, but they had good strikers. You know, Kennedy, Radford, I mean, Graham, and any of them, even the players that came from the middle of the field, were all capable of scoring goals. Kennedy, a lovely left foot and a very, very nice man. But all of them a threat. You know, little Geordie Armstrong on the wing, an orthodox wing, you know. But he also, you know, could put the ball away if you put it in front of him. But to be honest, most people think about Arsenal, they think about defence. They concentrate on the defence. I think this goes back to even before the war.
Well, it would do.
You know, the Arsenal side, they built up this reputation. My uncles used to play against the Everton and used to tell me about the Arsenal defence, you know. Wilf Coppin, uncompromising, and the toughest players I've ever played against.
Eddie Hapgood.
Yeah, Eddie Hapgood, Alex James,
that's right,
Cliff Basson.
That's right.
I knew them all.
Yeah.
Hey. I'll tell you a story one day about Wilf Coppin, but
yeah, I know the story you're going to tell me one day. But this side was not a boring Arsenal side, was it, Frank? I mean, it was a good side to watch.
Well, when you look at the midfield, as Bobby said, you'd George Armstrong, I mean, he could take corner kicks, free kicks with either foot without even thinking. You had George Graham in midfield, you had superb skills, you had Charlie George in midfield, you had Peter Storey, who never gave the ball away. He was a great tackler, not a long, accurate passer, but he just, like Nobby Styles, would get it and give it to the other players. You had Eddie Kelly as well. I mean, it was superb midfield.
Every great team has to have somebody that wins the ball.
Yeah.
And Peter Storey used to win the ball for us.
Well, to our first game then. Arsenal v Everton, December 1970. Frank, take us through that successful Arsenal side, will you?
Yeah, well, actually, Charlie Jaws was out for the first few months of that season, which was a big disappointment because he was a superb player. John Roberts came in there. He only played a few games in the double year, John. As Bobby said, John Radford and Ray Kennedy were very much key figures on our side. You could hit any kind of pass to them. It could be in the air, they would hold it up or flick it onto each other. It could be on the floor. Both of them had tremendous first touches, knew the game well as well, tactically knew the game well, and played and went off in a run all the time. And they never stopped running. They were two great centre forwards.
Now, what about the Everton team then, Bobby?
Well, Everton, the champions. Little pal of mine, Tommy Wright at right back. Keith Newton came from Blackburn Rovers. But the midfield, Howard Kendall, Colin Harvey, Alan Ball, that was their engine room. And that was what everybody, I think most clubs envied, the midfield of Everton at that particular time. Up front, you had Joe Royle, who was just brilliant in the air. And a little lad called Henry Newton that they must have brought in, I think they brought in from Nottingham Forest. He also was a midfield player. So they were really strong in the middle of the field.
The year then, 1970, when Coronation Street hit a significant milestone, notching up its 1,000th show, and you could travel on the London Underground for as little as 5p. Arsenal v Everton, described by David Coleman.
The referee is Mr. Kenneth Wynne of Wolverhampton. And interesting that Henry Newton is not lined up at the middle of the back row, but is in midfield at the moment with Howard Kendall, number 4, having gone into the middle of the back row alongside Kenyon. Arsenal in the white sleeves. Storey back to Roberts and Bob Wilson calling for the ball. Was right. Graham. His ball. Number 7 for Arsenal is Armstrong. Good covering by Howard Kendall. Bob McNabb. Graham. McNabb. And Whittle put him off, kept him under pressure. Alan Whittle, the blonde number 7. Bob McNabb. Royal was pushed. John Roberts has the job of looking after this strong young man today, and it won't be easy. Howard Kendall with a kick. And Roberts in trouble against Royal. Ball, Whittle. Ball again, number 8. Whittle gave Ball rather a lot to do then. McNabb.
You know, Frank, not a lot of people outside the game will remember Bertie Mee, not a big name. What was his philosophy in getting this side together then?
A very well organised man, very disciplined type of person as well. I think one of his strengths was that he realised he wasn't a coach. And at first we had Dave Sexton as a coach, and sometimes Dave was ill and Bertie took the coach and then they had to stop it. He used to turn around and be very honest and say, look, I can't coach, let's take you on the training ground and let's do some running. But it was, as I say, he was very well organised, and he allowed Don Howe, who later became the coach, to do the thing he was good at. And I thought that was very sensible, and the partnership worked very well.
And what about the players? Did they respect him? Did they enjoy him?
Most of the players respected him. Probably Charlie Jaws didn't, but Charlie didn't respect very few people, you know. But I think the rest of the team thought Bertie did a good job. And in fact, we were a very hard training side. We trained extremely hard. Unlike Man United, who played 5-a-sides and all that. There's all different ways of doing it, but when Bertie Mee came on the field, even then, the tempo went up.
Started play so quickly, but Whittle was offside. Just about a yard offside. McClintock. Kendall. Right. Ball. Royal. Ball again. Harvey square. Looking for Morrissey, he's got a lot to do. He's been very deep in defence now. Rice did well to get in the way of that. It's Morrissey to Harvey. Roberts. Bad ball. Now Whittle. Henry Newton to ball. Newton again. Harvey's square. There's Harvey. This is Morrissey. John Morrissey, Pat Rice alongside. Dangerous tackling by Keith Newton. Pat Rice. Graham, Kennedy. One of the defenders deflected that, so it's a corner. Rankin with a bit of trouble with the sun. And John Roberts, the big Arsenal defender, has crept up to the edge of the 18-yard line. Armstrong, Graham, Kennedy!
Yeah, well,
There you go,
Kennedy.
you know, it's the old story, an in-swinging corner, somebody at the near post helping it on its way, and the space behind it coming in. I mean, we see it so often. It's supposed to be something that we say as one of today's tactics, but it's been going on almost, I think, since football began, this one move, and it's very difficult to stop. And George Graham just helps it on, and Ray Kennedy got his timing right, in the right spot, just simplest thing in the world, just pop it in the back of the net.
Well, certainly that the cap that Andy Rankin, the goalkeeper, was wearing didn't put him off, did Frank?
No, actually, as Bobby says, if the ball was delivered well, and George Armstrong, as I said earlier, was a superb crosser of the ball with either foot, and that was a good delivery. And George Graham was superb in the air at touching the balls, very much like Alan Golzine, could glance balls just right. And he was just placed it in the right position, and Ray Kennedy was there to put it in.
Henry Newton. Wilson was there but didn't win it. It's often quite a dangerous moment for a side when they've just scored a goal. They tend to relax in concentration, and momentarily there, Arsenal were in trouble. The crowd booing the throwing away of the ball. John Roberts. Right. George Graham. Armstrong. Radford. Kelly, and Radford was fouled from the back. The referee playing the advantages and acknowledges that he knows it was a foul. Ray Kennedy. Radford. A wonderful try by John Radford, but a splendid save by Rankin. Radford ready for the corner. Won by Kenyon. Kelly back to Rice. Radford and Kenyon there. Arsenal ball. The Arsenal goal scored after 14 minutes by Ray Kennedy. Good long throw too. Won by Joe Royal. That's Kelly. Roberts. And a foul given against Roberts. He pushed. Howard Kendall taking the kick. Kelly. Morrissey. Henry Newton. Roberts for Arsenal. McClintock. This is Kenyon. Morrissey. Ray Kennedy. Radford. Rice. Total misunderstanding. Keith Newton to Colin Harvey. Whittle. It's too far, but he nearly got away with it. And look who's helping at the back, John Radford. Kenyon, Penrado. Good flick by Wright to Newton. Harvey. Wright to Ball. Royal. Harvey. Royal. And there was quite a lot to enjoy in that Everton build-up. Roger Kenyon. And Roger Kenyon and Howard Kendall have got a difficult job against these two Arsenal attackers in Radford and Kennedy, who are so good in the air. Wolf Dixon in the background, the Everton coach, was waving players into position. Kendall going with Kennedy. It's going to be a free kick to Arsenal. This is Rice. Kennedy!
Yeah, well, a second goal for Ray Kennedy. Up in the air again. Meat and drink, I suppose, Frank.
Well, he was excellent all round, really. I was surprised that people thought he was a marvellous player at Liverpool. We thought he was only 19 then. Won the double at 19. In the air, he was superb. Lost his man in the box and in the deck as well. And he and John Radford were a terrific combination together. There he goes. Bad marking, really. But good position play he took up there. And he was very accurate with his head as well.
Morrissey. Whittle streaking through, made the ground well. Good goalkeeping. Ball's never short of a few words. All the competitiveness that Alan Ball feels and displays in a match shown there. It's a good ball. Radford, number 9. Newton. Armstrong to Radford. Corner. George Armstrong will take the corner. John Roberts has come up to the edge of the 18-yard line, number 6. And Arsenal with a lot of aerial power. Graham. Radford. Again, wonderfully well hit by Radford. But what good goalkeeping by Andy Rankin. Hands like flypaper. Harvey now to Whittle. Newton. And that's the goalkeepers. Henry Newton has not found his touch, but that's true of one or two of the other Everton players as well. And Kendall to Rankin. Alan Ball. This is Kenyon. And Royal offside. And in fact, the half-time whistle coincides with that. The crowd applauding these two well-taken goals by 19-year-old Ray Kennedy for Arsenal, 6 minutes apart.
So Arsenal had set the pattern with a very useful lead, and we'll have the second half of this absorbing game in a couple of minutes. So be sure to stay with us, won't you? And welcome back. The year is 1970 and we're featuring the great Arsenal side that achieved the league and cup double that season. We are halfway through their home game with Everton. The Londoners enjoying a 2-0 advantage at half-time.
The crowd just watching the start of this second half happily in the sunshine, and most of them happy, no doubt, at the way Arsenal played in that first half. Rankin been able to lose the cap. Royal. Henry Newton. Keith Newton. And Royal wasn't offside. He's only got Roberts with him at the moment, but Roberts quite competent. Joe Royal again. Again Roberts behind him. Morrissey. Rice to Armstrong. Rice again. Armstrong. Rice. Kelly. Alan Ball. Harvey after Ball. Good play by Ball. And again. Good tackle by Kelly. Armstrong. Kennedy powering his way through the defenders. It's a corner. Quickly to Armstrong. Oh, Graham! And that would have been a goal to remember if it had been scored. So well created. And Armstrong was always looking for that run from Graham at the near post. Graham saying sorry, but he arrived at just the right time. Just about a foot too high.
A lot of people intrigued by those white boots that Alan Ball's wearing, Bobby.
I know. Well, I think it was when boot sponsorship was in its infancy, you know, and they just come in and they were trying to get some exposure and using people like Alan Ball, who was one of the heroes of the World Cup 1966 and a high-profile player. To be perfectly honest, they look outrageous, don't they? Really? It looks like a tennis player that's got lost.
Well, you were not tempted to put on white boots?
The black ones, I didn't mind a few stripes or a few white marks on them, but I wouldn't change the colour completely.
He really tried to measure it. Royal. Whittle. Corner. And what a difference a goal would make to Everton. They're just occasionally now showing signs of clicking. Good play by George Armstrong, but he's given it away now. Harvey. Neat and such a good ball player, but Armstrong determined to make amends for the mistake he made in the first place. Colin Harvey. Fair amount of pushing going on then, and the linesman helping the referee. And at both ends of the field is causing trouble. Good players in the air like Radford and Kennedy at one end and Royal at the other. Defenders...
George Armstrong, a tenacious little player, Frank.
Well, Bobby and I were talking about him, really. He was a player who could play left wing, but he was also a left half and a left back. He covered every blade of grass, every game of the season. I mean, his stamina and his enthusiasm, all the years I was at Arsenal, remained undiminished. He was unbelievable, George.
You've seen enough from these clips here. He's in swinging corner kicks. There was a free kick where he bent it in and the ball was just missed the goal by inches with a great header. He's got an engine. He's running back and forth, but up and down. When I see this, I can't help thinking that it was really Alf Ramsey's type of player. Yeah. And yet George never, ever, I don't think, ever got a sniff. Never got a sniff of ever playing for England. And yet, if you would see somebody like George playing today, you know, newspapers may be just writing him up for a chance.
Yeah.
John Roberts. Kendall. Graham for Arsenal. The kick's been given. Again, another problem for... No, he's given the throw. And so another problem if it had been a high ball, but Radford with the throw. And he can throw a long one too. Kelly!
Yes, that long throw brought it about, Frank, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Eddie Kelly, I thought, was a superb player. He really had a little bit of weight problem in later years, but he had all the talent. He was a superb tackler, great passer, and he scored some very important goals. He should have done a lot better in his career than what he did do. He had all the ability in the world.
Don Howe, this talented Arsenal coach, must be so well pleased. But now look at what really happened to that shot by Kelly. He struck it really hard, but watch Keith Newton come across. And it's Newton, in fact, who deflects it wide of the goalkeeper, who appeared to have it covered. Minutes of the second half gone. The other two scored for Arsenal by Kennedy. Story to Graham. Right to ball to Henry Newton, and Story in the way. Colin Harvey, Morrissey. This is Ball, and Armstrong back again to help. Story obviously to Wilson. Wilson forced onto the left foot again. Harvey. Ball. Harvey. Tommy Wright. Harvey. Morrissey. A definite goalkeeping by Bob Wilson. Again forced onto the left foot, but he hits it quite well with both feet. Kendall. Henry Newton in the way. McNabb to Radford, and a corner. I've heard a lot of the Everton players calling to each other, trying to raise their spirits a little bit, because they certainly have flagged since that third goal. Fair amount of marking going on around Kennedy. Armstrong. And Graham got it. George Graham, John Radford and Ray Kennedy really have dominated the Everton defence. Almost every high ball they've won. It's Colin Harvey. Whittle. Foul by McClintock. And Whittle having a word with McClintock because he complained bitterly the last time that happened on the other side. Oh, Kelly! This is Whittle. With nowhere to go. And he's having a row now with Joe Royle. Everton now completely at odds with each other.
Bob Wilson didn't have to do very much on that occasion, but he really was so solid at the back, wasn't he, Bobby?
Well, Frank and I were talking, and I'm not surprised when he said that he was such a good, he had a good season that year. But any team that wins the double, if the goalkeeper's wrong, you've no chance, because it reflects on the other players around you, and you could tell they're very confident. Anything that comes in the box, they're expecting Bob Wilson to get it, and that's usually what happened.
Harvey. Tommy Wright. And nobody there at all putting the defence under pressure, but Rice taking no sort of chance. In fact, I think he intended that for Wilson. Saying sorry, an acknowledgement from Bob Wilson, and the corner to be taken by Alan Ball. Royal just beaten in the air by McClintock, but that's Morrissey. Right shot, kick over the line, and Arsenal very lucky then. The defence didn't know an awful lot about it. First it hit the post from Morrissey, and Wright's shot just hit a player. This is Morrissey. Newton. Harvey. Nicely played. This is Wright. Snap to Armstrong. Story. Armstrong to McClintock. Kennedy. Kelly. Armstrong. Story. And was it hands? Yes! Kenyon the offender, totally unnecessary here, but clear cut. An innocuous situation. But the ball was handled. Peter Story placing it for the penalty.
So Peter Story took most of the penalties, Frank, did he?
Yeah, one of the most important ones he took was in the semi-final against Stoke City. We were 2-0 down at half-time. Then we got back to 2-1, and he took one in the very last minute against Gordon Banks. Side-footed it, just past the goalkeeper. Good temperament Peter Story had.
Everton really, throughout this match, lacked cohesion and rhythm. This is Morrissey. Newton. And although so many of their players are trying so hard, nothing will go right for them. Radford with Kenyon. Royal. Whittle. Story to Kelly. Armstrong. Kennedy. Radford. And this is Kelly. And that really should have been number 5. And it was a move that was worthy of a goal. Morrissey. Royal applauding the referee for giving the decision in his favour, and he's asked for trouble. Certainly he's been roughed up, but now he's going to be spoken to.
Yeah, it's been getting a little niggly, Frank, hasn't it?
Yes, it has, but when you're 4-0 down, I mean, players do get a little bit annoyed, but if you just watch the game, every time an Everton player is on the ball, he's quickly closed down, and we're nibbling away at them all the time, putting them under pressure, not letting them settle, and eventually, that's how we get the 4 goals. We'll work at them so much.
Yeah. Soft, big Joe getting in the book, Bobby.
Yeah, no, it's unusual for Joe, because he wasn't a dirty player at all. But it is frustrating. for them, and they are champions, you see, and so that makes it actually more frustrating. But you have to just get on with it. I mean, we found that, you know, this season Blackburn Rovers have found very difficult. Once you're the champions, everybody wants to beat you. But Arsenal, like Frank says, close everybody down, make it difficult for you. Life's not easy.
Really's been missing for most of this match. Henry Newton, the new boy from Nottingham Forest. Whittle. Did well. Alan Whittle keeps trying. And that's the final whistle. And no one can complain about the result today. 4-0 to Arsenal. Well-deserved win against an Everton side that had very little to offer today.
Yes, a convincing victory at Arsenal, their 7th best win in 13 games. And Frank, by this time you were not top of the league, you were actually moving up that way.
We weren't top of the league till the last game of the season, I think. We were always behind all the way through. As I said earlier, we were 6 points behind with about, I don't know, 13 games to go. I think we took 26 points out of the last 27, if I remember right. We only dropped 1 point in the last 13 games. It was a tremendous run. And you can see the way we played there, how difficult we made it for the opposition. They had to come and really deserve to get a shot at goal against us. That's the sort of team we were.
Yeah.
Not so much individual players. Man United are always great individual stars, but we were more of 11 guys working their tail off for the one benefit.
In fact, you made the point, you can't have a passenger if you're going to get the double.
No, you've got to have everybody working. It's got to be a good blend. If you've got a good blend of players, you've got a good system to play to, and you have the type of players that have got the right sort of attitude, then you can do it. But if you've got a couple of lazy players in the side who think maybe now and again they'll have a breather, that's not the way that it is with winning championships. You've all got to do it together. And you can usually sense a team that's capable of winning the title during a season by just looking for these points.
Well, of course, you didn't have that kind of pressure on you at that point because no one thought that you would actually win the league.
No, it was a good position to actually come from, because if you're actually up there, everybody's trying to knock you off the perch. Yeah. So we were always coming from behind, and that's a dangerous place to come from. The pressure's not on you, and just at the final death, that's when we actually won the double. In 1 week, we won the championship and won the cup.
Well, we pick up that season 2 months on, and Arsenal's away fixture against Manchester United, a game to savour after the break.